I'm your boy Idaho,
I'm your boy Juke.
and we about to bring you the hottest talk, 100% raw from around the city. Alright, y'all, I want to welcome y'all to episode 4 of Off the Bench Last Play. We have Blexit's Ohio director in the house, and he's going to tell us the 5 pillars of their foundation and what Blexit is, how this nonprofit has grown to help thousands and thousands of people, and how we can help the next generation be better than we are. So I'm gonna let you take the floor, Raymond.
Man, thank you. First off, thank you for letting me come on to the podcast Off the Bench. But like you guys said, my name is Raymond. Originally here from Cincinnati, Ohio. Kind of a little background about me, about how I kind of got into Blexit. Like, I've never really been into politics, but as I started to get a little bit older, I started seeing the kind of divide, especially when we had the Trump administration, and it really started showing me the misinformation that was kind of going on. So my biggest thing was always, I just like looking at the facts. I like looking at what's actually going on. And as I was kind of like going through it, especially through the pandemic, I ran into Candace Owens, and I started hearing her. And even now, like, when you hear, kind of like how people were talking about her, they were calling her, the black white supremacist, the coon and all this stuff. And so, I wanted to just kind of see for myself. I wanted to get this information. So I looked her up, and man, I listened to what she was saying. And then that kind of led me to listen to people like Brandon Tatum, Larry Elders, Will Witt. And kind of from there, man, it really just kind of showed me my values and showed me that, I was more of a conservative than anything. So like, I ended up joining her foundation, Blexit. And Blexit is a foundation that was actually founded by Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. Brandon Tatum, he's used to be a former officer for Tulsa, Oklahoma. And what we do is that we focus in the communities, trying to change the narrative, and then also to serve. Other organizations, they're really big on, collecting donations and actually going out there and trying to collect money from the people. But what we're doing is the opposite. We're actually trying to put our actual boots on the ground, actually come into the communities and actually do some work. And we do that through our 5 pillars. So the first one is, like we were talking about, is we do school choice. One thing is that we believe that as a society, we need to have more options, especially when it comes into like the black community. We all know, like, our public schools, they're failing us. We're having, you see kids coming out of high school, not knowing what they're going to do, not knowing, the situations, especially when it comes to financial literature. So we need to try to create better programs that are actually focusing on what we can do to actually fix that. The second thing is that when it comes to that is also criminal justice reform. We know that a lot of us has people that are in jail right now, family members, and a lot of them come out and, they're stuck in this bind where they're not able to actually create a true living for themselves. And a lot of them don't have the skill sets to actually push on and actually build, like wealth in their communities and their family. And that kind of goes into our third pillar, which is entrepreneurship. Actually trying to create wealth in our communities, actually trying to bring back skill sets when it comes to welding, plumbing, other entrepreneurships, when it evolves around the community. And then our other focus is when we look at, the type of history and programs that we're having in our communities. A big thing now is, like, you see in a lot of these small schools and districts, they're trying to really push critical race theory. And what it's doing is really dividing us, as a people. It's like at the end of the day, nobody wants to erase history. I want people of all colors to understand, the good and the bad of American history. But I think labeling it, trying to make it as, oh, white people are the devil and black people are just victims, I think that's a terrible narrative, because right now I'm looking at, two black men right here, and I don't see no victims. I see two. Right now we're here on a podcast that you created to actually push your message. That's not a victim mentality that I look at, and that's a message that we need to push more. We need to push better programs through that, and that kind of falls into our fifth pillar, which is actually what we're doing now, trying to push the message out in a unique way in performances and the events that we try to create, whether it be rallies or actually going into the community and actually doing different projects through our 12 initiatives. So that's Blexit in a whole. I would definitely say I love this organization. I love our founders, Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum. They're God-fearing people, and just, honestly, just good people all in all. And the people that you meet in here is amazing. Like, I've met some really good people in the past few months. We were lucky enough to be able to start this chapter back in January. We started off small, but we're really picking steam. And I think the biggest thing now is that, we want to create, a big imprint when it comes to Ohio, and especially not just here in Cincinnati, but just all over. So we're just hoping that, we can keep growing. And we have opportunities to, for more leadership, more opportunities. So please, if you're interested in being part of Blexit, please, go on, our Blexit Foundation, go to Ohio chapters and look us up.
Not only does Blexit help inside of the community, but it also helps people who, like he said, who wants to be entrepreneurs, like us. You know what I'm saying? They've taken notice of us and became hands in on helping us achieve our goal, from setting up the podcast to we have a cleanup on Sunday at 5 o'clock at South Avondale High School.
Yes.
And these are just things that we put together because we want to give kids safe space for them to get away. I mean, ball, of course, is me and Juke's biggest outlet in life. Like, that's how we get away. So if there's a chance for us to go clean up an area to give kids that same outlet, we want to make sure that we take part in that. So if look into it, like, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing to hop on Google, search Blexit, look up Candace Owens, find out the beliefs, find out the pillars, find out if you believe in that and if you can take part in that. And if it is, they have literally connections everywhere. You can reach out, no matter what it is. They will put you in the situation that you need to be in. Juke?
So what? When it comes to Blexit, how many chapters are there?
So I know right now, I know the big ones are in Arizona, Florida. I know St. Louis is really popping right now.
How many are in there in those areas? When you say big,
well, those are kind of the three biggest ones. But I think all in all, we have about 16 chapters that are across the nation. And right now the Midwest is growing. We actually started off, like I said, in January with Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and we're just trying to really push it, and I think that's the big thing, is that, a lot of people, as I've been talking, they know of Candace Owens, but they don't really know if they just think of Blexit as this hashtag that was kind of brought up between her saying all right, we need black people to exit the Democratic Party. And what she meant by that was she saw it as we need to control our vote. Especially me, I grew up a Democrat. I voted for Obama both times, and I take pride in that because I felt I got to join in that process. I felt like that was the first time I ever felt like my vote was heard. But at the same time, I also watched administration that ignored us for 8 years. And I think now is a time where we're looking at how this administration is moving, how, we see all of these false promises and pandering promises, truthfully, that they tell us every year and we don't get nothing out of it. I mean, even if you look at the history of the party, like they've controlled Congress, they have controlled the administration for almost the last 3 decades. And I think it's time now for us to really actually look at the issues, actually look at the policies, and actually see what people are going to do for us, and not just vote blue no matter what.
All right. So in Arizona, I know me and you talked, because you know what I'm saying, we talked a lot. So in Arizona, we were talking and you said there's upwards of 20,000 in that one.
Yeah, it's big.
So that's just one chapter. So just think about, and they have conferences where it's literally hundreds of people there that you can come, you can talk, you can politic, you can find out information. Like, they really connect you with the right people. Like you said, 20,000 just in Arizona chapter. So this lets you know, like, there's networking that can be done.
Yep.
If you're hungry, there should be no, you could pick up the phone, call, hey, this park down the street needs cleaned up, you know what I'm saying, so I can send my kids there. That's something that can be taken care of. That's something, like, now there's no reason for people to say we don't have a solution to our problem, because now there is it.
Right.
There is it. We're like I said about the cleanup at South Avondale, like, and anywhere else. So if you know of any places that need cleaned up, or you know what I'm saying, anybody who needs help doing something, regardless of what it is, pick up the phone. You can reach out to Off the Bench. You can reach out to Flick It Up. You can reach out to Blexit. You can reach out to any of those avenues, and we can set something up where we come out and we help clean up the environment. Because like I said, this whole thing is about giving back and opening up doors for the next generation.
100%. And one thing I do want to say, because I want to make it clear too, is that when I say that, we are, conservatives, we are, that is, me personally, when I look at conservative, I look at somebody who is just fundamentally about their principles. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I believe that a man should be the head of his household. Even if your wife or your significant other may be the breadwinner, I think a man, it's his obligation to want to look over his family, to actually build off his family, to actually create a safe environment. And that's how when I look at being a conservative, it's just somebody who I don't look for handouts. I'm looking for a way to actually improve and actually, use my hands. So, it's like regardless, regardless if it's Democrat or Republican, because truthfully, they both can honestly do more for the communities. But at the end of the day, it's all about, like I said, it's about looking at the policies and actually looking at, who is actually going to be for us. I think even now when they talk about, trying to get free college, it's a good sentiment. And I think, I went to college, and I think it would be cool if someone paid off all my student debt. But at the same time too, I didn't finish. I dropped out. And honestly, I don't think it's fair for any of you guys to have to pay for my mistake.
Right.
It's an investment. Right. And I think that's what we need to get back to. We need to start teaching these kids when they get out of high school that college is not the end all be all, that if you want to get into welding, if you want to get into a trade, if you want to get into business, that there should be a lane for that. And I think that's what we're trying to create in Blexit.
So I'm glad you touched on that, because I wanted you to explain what a day to day would look like when you would go to a school and explain to the kids, what steps they should be taking in order to, reach that entrepreneurship that they want to reach, or reach that college goal that they want to reach. Explain what a day-to-day looks like, what you do in and out.
Absolutely. So first off, I would definitely say we need to start teaching financial literature. We need to start having more kids understand, the tax code, understanding, especially for each state. Every state is different. Like here in Ohio, we have the 2 taxes. Like if you work in one part of the area, you have to pay taxes there. And if you live in another place, you have to pay taxes there. Right. And a lot of times, like if you have a house, you pay property taxes taxes. Those taxes are going towards your community. So it's like if you look at an area like Madeira, it's a very, like upper class neighborhood. All those that whole entire surrounding has like majority like single family homes, so they're paying property taxes. So that's why when you look at the Madeira school district, you could honestly say it looks like a private school,
right,
because they're actually having money that's going into the actual schools. From, if you look at Cincinnati Public, or if you look at an area like I came from Mount Healthy, in Mount Healthy, they have single family households, but it also has a lot of affordable housing. And a lot of people don't understand that it's when a lot of people hear conservatives say that we have to, when they try to distance themselves from affordable housing, it's not saying that we don't want poor people to have housing, but it's saying that we have to understand that if we can teach our young people in school that there is a difference from the taxes that are being paid into Hub and all these different programs, because that doesn't go into your community, that goes into the state, and that's being spread out into other places.
Right.
But when you actually have a home, when you actually are contributing to the community, then you can actually see that money flow into the school.
Right.
So I would definitely say is that we need to start teaching financial literature. We need to start getting away like I said, that college is the be all end all.
Right.
There's some kids that are just not gonna make it. Truthfully,
right.
I never wanted to go to college. I went to college because that's just where, man, my parents,
right.
they told me that, hey, you got to go to college to be successful. And I went for graphic design, and I minored in marketing. And I tried to do the track thing for a year, but I couldn't juggle both. But a lot of it was like, once I dropped out and I started actually using the skill sets that I had, I realized I didn't need college. I really could have honestly just did it just by going on YouTube, and at the time YouTube wasn't as big when I was in high school, but
right.
It's like now, like really, some of these kids can go online, they can learn different skill sets, man. If they want to find people, if they want to network, Twitter and Instagram, like there's so many resources. And I think that's what we need to start really focusing on, so that kids, because my biggest thing is I want to see kids by the time they're 18, graduating, they at least have a skill set behind their back.
Right.
If you look at Booker T. Washington, he has a book that he put out called Up From Slavery. He talks about when he first started the Tuskegee University, that his biggest thing was, the kids that come to my university, they have to be able to have a trade set. They need to be able to use their hands. It's like, we will understand you want to be doctors, lawyers, psychiatrists, but you might go to a city or area that may not need a doctor, but everybody's going to need a welder. There's some people that say like, oh, I really don't have a need for a psychiatrist, but I got a roof that's been leaking for a while. I would really like somebody that can do that. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to start having our kids like create those type of skill set programs, because they're not there anymore.
Right.
When I was in high school, at least we had shop, we had certain programs like that, and they're gone now.
Kids getting lazy now, man.
It is.
It's a lot of laziness out here, man. We gotta push that.
Transitioning from high school to college is already something that's mind-boggling for a lot of kids.
Oh, for
17, 18, 19 years old. So not only do we need to educate those kids on like how to move, you gotta think about a lot of these kids never been away from home. A lot of these kids has never had to wake up on their own or lived on their own or none of that. So a lot of these kids are just leaving to go away to school after 18 years of waking up to their mom and their dad, to now they got that alarm clock they gotta turn off. You know what I'm saying? That hey, you gotta go to school. There ain't nobody calling your parents saying, hey, he didn't come to class. There's nobody forcing you to go to class. There's none of that. So I feel like it's hard. Like for student athletes, it's super hard, because not only do you have to maintain that, but it's like maintaining a full-time job too while you're going to school, because you're going to classes and then you're turning around going to football, which is your whole life. From 4 a.m. like 4 a.m. runs, and then you got practice right after class, then you got film, then study hall, then if depending on your age, like it's just drooling. So like me coming out of school at 17 years old, I wasn't prepared. Like I wasn't. Like I came out of Withrow, like, you know what I'm saying, which is a really good school, but I wasn't prepared. Like when I got up to school, like I wasn't prepared to walk in there and have to do the work. Like I wasn't prepared to get up on my own. I wasn't prepared for the parties. I wasn't prepared for my financial, like how to manage money. You know, I wasn't prepared for those things.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said. They just was like, hey, you got these scholarships. Where do you want to go? Oh, you want to go there? Cool. We'll take some pictures, and that was that.
Yeah, and it goes kind of back to that. It's like, think about all the kids that take out loans, you know, and a lot of them don't understand that there's a difference between, you know, federal loans and private loans. You know, even now, like, even when they're talking about, like, suspending, like, all people's student debt, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of the administration is not talking about federal loans. They're talking about private loans, and you know, so, and then I asked the question, like, how many people have that and how many people have this, you know? Like, me personally, like, I didn't understand my finances. My first year, like, I was trying to get a dorm, you know, and I was just, you know, just signing papers just so I can just have something to say I had it. But if somebody would have, like, taught me and showed me, like, man, this is an investment. Like, you putting money into this to invest. It's just like the stock market. Like, if you put money into Tesla, you know, and if you lose money on that share, you can't call Elon Musk and say, hey, I just lost about $500 on this. Can I get that money back?
All right.
Like, we don't expect that from them, so why should we expect that from these institutions?
All right. That's how I felt. Like, because when I got out of high school, like, before I even got to college, I damn near wasn't even about to even make it to college. Like, the only reason I got into college was because my dad knew somebody that went to school there and played football at Morehead. Like, it was like almost last minute where I felt like I wasn't even gonna be in school. I didn't know what my next step was about to be. And then, like, even in high school, they didn't really push us taking the ACT or the SAT. Like, nobody was really like, oh yeah, you need to take this and take this to go to school. It was just like, it just felt like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, if you wasn't the man at this school, like, nobody else was paying attention to you. You was just gonna graduate high school and be like, oh, that's it? You graduated high school? That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's the end. Like,
right, it was like, they thought that was it.
We look at it like we already had the degrees and stuff.
Like that was it.
The only thing they taught me, I'm not gonna lie, was you won't owe no loans. If you sign this scholarship,
that's all.
You ain't gonna owe no money.
That's
And once they said that your family ain't gotta, that's all they really taught me. Like, your family ain't gotta pay nothing. Like, did you get a Pell Grant when you went up there?
Yeah, I think I did. Eventually. But
when you first got that Pell Grant, what was the first thing you spent it on?
Oh yeah, I bought shoes. I mean, you know what I mean?
They giving you $5,500.
Give you money. I didn't really think, I needed to put it into something that I needed to afford.
I didn't even know that I had to click yes to accept it until going into Christmas break. They like, hey, y'all get y'all second Pell Grant? I'm like, but I didn't get my first one. They like, oh, did you go in there and accept it? Nah. Went on there, accepted it. Next thing you know, a couple days later, I was on my way home. It dropped like 11 bands.
That's what I'm saying. They never really taught.
I didn't know what to do with that type of money.
I remember I spent about like $2,000 like almost in a week. Just in like partying.
I spent it all. I spent it all that weekend. I came home for the weekend. I went to Nashville. I went to clubs. I went shopping. I bought all. You would think I was a rapper. I bought all my boys stuff. I was buying them Timbs. This one, everybody started rocking the black scuff proof one. I'm like, everybody gets up. Come on, man. 11 man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. On, like, just not being, because like both of my parents are not from here. Both of my parents are from different countries, so they didn't even really they didn't really know what. They didn't go to college. You know what I mean? They were just trying to survive. You know what I mean? So it was just like. They couldn't really teach me anything, and then on top of that, it's like they didn't even really have the connections to the other people to help teach me things. Right. You know what I mean? So it was like we was all just going with the flow. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I couldn't blame them for that. Because they didn't know any better. Yeah. My dad did what he could and found somebody that he knew that played football, and that's how I got into school.
Man, can I ask you where your parents come from?
So my mom is from Jamaica, and my dad is from Panama.
Okay.
So when
you say Panama, like I don't want to sound
Costa Rica.
Stupid. Okay. I didn't want to just be like, okay.
Yeah. Costa Rica.
You see how crazy it is? Because both my parents went to school, and my dad got drafted to play pro ball, and I still didn't have the knowledge to go.
Right.
Because he didn't have the knowledge. Like, he was like, because of the fact he was such a highly talented, like highly scouted prospect, like he was a 6'6" left-hand pitcher.
They didn't care about nothing.
Coming out of Crenshaw High School. They didn't so he really didn't take care of that stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and he played baseball. Like, my whole family baseball. Like, me and my Uncle Wes are the only ones that chose the football route. So we really didn't, we was just freelancing. Right. You know what I'm saying? But getting that 11 bands, instead of me, think about it, if somebody would have taught me before, like, hey, they better give you this Pell Grant, so take that little $5,500 and invest it. You know what I'm saying? Like, get you, start you a little business, or, you know what I'm saying, anything. Because think about it, especially athletes now you get to get paid off your name. So imagine you go up there with your own, start your own clothing line, start your own whatever, make, you know what I'm saying, stop wearing everybody, like, this is what I would tell all you younger people, everybody who's younger, who want to come out with their own brand and they want to be a brand themselves, stop wearing everybody else's stuff. Like, yes, you can support your peoples, you could do all that, but wearing all this excessive stuff that don't have nothing to do with you when you could support people around you, like, I don't care, like, Juke has don't have it. If I gotta wear don't have it every day, that's what I'm gonna wear. Man. That's what I'm gonna wear, because I'd rather, I'm gonna keep letting Nike and everybody else make all this money and get all these views and stuff when I can give them to my boy. You feel me? So everybody out there, like, start rocking your own brand, even if that mean that you walking, like, if you go back and look, I rock plain white tees a lot. You know what I'm saying? Plain white tees a lot, because of the fact that I try not to wear brands too much unless they mean something to me. So
sorry.
Man, but also too, I was kind of jump on that. Like, I mean, one thing I would say is, like, you know, especially if you're in college, like being an athlete, you know, a lot of these universities have brand deals. So I mean, sometimes depending on it, you know, you are substituted to have to wear, you know, their type of brands for certain things. But like you said, like now,
shirt,
like
towel though, your towel can have your logo. You know what I'm saying? They let you. Of course, you gotta wear Nikes. I mean, I was Adidas. I'm not gonna lie. When I went to Eastern, we were Adidas. I wore Vapor Jets.
But I say you see,
I got them spray painted.
You see, was
Adidas. Russell and I wore Nike.
Yeah, we sprayed. I just sprayed. Like, I had them spray painted, and I just wore them. Like, we just couldn't wear their. So the equipment guy would spray paint my cleats, and I'll wear, because I love Vapor Jets at the time. So he would spray paint them, and I'll wear them in the game. You know what I'm saying? And it's.
You can't wear the logos, different logos.
No, we sponsored by. If you sponsored by Adidas, you can't wear Nike. Right. Like, in a game.
Yeah, right.
Like, I could wear Nikes outside.
I did anyway.
But in a game.
Sponsored by Russell. I'm wearing Nike.
People get away with it, but if you go back and look, a lot of people, like, because the school get fined. You get fined for stuff like that.
But like you also said too, you know, now, like, you get paid off your likeness. So especially like for a lot of these, like, athletes, you know, because, like, I think we even talked about it off camera that, you know, like, personally, like, you know, I have family, friends, I have people who, you know, who did everything right, you know, went through all the combines, did everything, and didn't get drafted. And a lot of them, you know, they didn't get to hit their dreams, but they spent those 4 years, you know, busting their body, breaking their body down for the university, and didn't get anything out of it. And, you know, I think now this is a good time, especially when people can't get paid for their likeness, you know, start a YouTube page, you know, I'm telling you, like, there's some high class universities, like, if you're getting paid, I'm telling you, just walk around a few times a day and just say, hey, you know, like, the life of an athlete, you know, and actually get paid. Shoot, even if you look at OnlyFans, like, I know, you know, I see a lot of people use that for, like, the certain content, but you don't understand, like, man, like, you could literally just put your content on there, man. People could be paying just to come on there and see the information. If they like you, they can follow you, especially if you're genuine, you know. Like, I mean, if you want to go on there and show your tatas, then yeah, like, that's what they're gonna look for. But man, if you actually take those platforms and actually use them to the utilization, like, man, you can really make some good money. And I think that's like one thing that really hits me, because, like I said, you know, I tried to run track at UC, you know, I tried to walk on, and, you know, I had a small opportunity to really do it, but I got caught up in, you know, the small of, like, oh, like, the little fame of, oh yeah, okay, like, oh, I see you you do this or you do that, and then I started getting some promotion, and I started getting in with just different groups, and I just told myself, like, man, like, I don't think I'm gonna go to the Olympics, you know, and I shouldn't have told myself that, but at the time, like, when you don't really have, like, people that are, like, who really have that knowledge, and again, that kind of goes back to saying, like, you know, we have to show people that there's different outlooks, you know, like, at the end of the day, like, you know, if I know that you and me are cool on campus, we both play in the same position, but you better than me, like, and I know I'm getting a free ride, man, why don't I try to get, like, a real, you know, a degree or something where I can actually become your agent, you know, actually get certified, you know, that can help us both out. Or a lot of, you know, especially a lot of these people, like, there's ways to stay in these fields, stay in the game that you love. It may not always be on the field, but I think for one, we have to have some type of realization that if the NBA, what is it, like there's only 450 people that actually in the National Basketball Association each year. Like I might be wrong, I might be wrong on that number, but just think about it. That's only 450. Like, man, that's a senior graduation class.
Right.
You know, so it's
some people it's bigger than.
and you're expecting all these kids from all over the country to really have that opportunity. Like, man, like we have to create different venues. And I think, like you said, we was talking earlier about steps going from high school to college. Like we should be teaching that like in the beginning of high school. Like I think every year, every top 10, every top 10, every 20 athlete that's in high school, they you should really sit them down. They should have a literature financial studies. They should be learning different outlets, accounting, trades, like, man, automotive, like, man, being a barber. Like, there's other outlets to be making money, and you never know what that can turn into. Shoot, you might come out with a 4-year degree and then end up like, man, okay, so I may not make it to the pros, but hey, I got a lot of buddies that's gonna need a barber, and I might be able to travel with them, help them out. Like you look at Kevin Hart. Like I remember when he first started his athletic kind of like journey of working out. Like he put his guy on. Like man, he put him on. He got him with Nike, got him signed. Yeah. Now he has his own thing. That's how.
I'm glad you said that because. I feel like that's what we need now, like not even just as men, but like everybody. Like there should be more support.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Friends, family, it should be more support all around. Like, you know what I'm saying? If one person win, that's okay. Everybody gonna look at you like, okay, you won. Everybody gonna be proud of you, of course, but why not put everybody else on? You know what I'm saying? Why not have everybody else win? When everybody else wins, that's even better.
And it save you the heartache. Cause think about it, if everybody winning, then you don't got that issue of, only time you want to talk to me is when you need something.
Right.
Because we all winning, so you don't need to hit me up for no money.
You don't need nothing from me.
Now,
we already
and I know if you do, then it's serious.
Right.
You feel me? But when you don't put your whole team on, that sets you up to be the foundation for that whole group, the whole thing. So if something happen to you, you go broke or you lose everything, that means y'all back to square one. But if everybody in your team eating and I fall off, that means that I got 8 other people that can be like, hey bro, here, go on, get back on your feet, we back.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We need more of that, man.
So
we need
as
more of that, for sure.
As Blexit, you guys have some events coming up. How about you tell us about the 2 events that you have coming up this month?
Okay. So I know this Sunday coming up, we're actually going to be doing a cleanup initiative. We have different initiatives each month. Last month we did Back to Blue. We wanted to try to really just say thank you and show appreciative to the officers that are in our communities that are doing the right thing. We understand that there are a few bad nuggets out here in the world, but man, to just villainize just the whole entire just the police community is atrocious. Like, man, like they're the ones that are actually putting their neck out for us. Their families are allowing them to go out and actually put their necks out. So we did something for them last month, and this month we're doing a cleanup program. We're going to be doing that. I believe it's at the
South Avondale Elementary School.
Where we're going to be there. If you want to come out and help, please. And then I believe next month we're going to be doing a block party where we're just going to have we're going to have some food. Try to get some people together and just try to do just some information about school choice. And then again, like you said, our second event this month, we're going to be working with
the BCFL and Off the Bench.
Yes, I want to make sure I get that right. The
BCFL Blue Collar Football League. Off the Bench will be there. So Flick It Up will be there. Where is a youth camp so all of you young guys out there, you kids out there who want to get more exposure, not only are we going to have information for you for diets and how to carry your body and take care of your body and what to expect at the next level, but we're also going to have we're going to be having keeping track of records and posting them on the website. So from now on we will have kids in the city who hold records from everywhere from the 40 time to shuttle run. So make sure y'all come out.
Yeah, and definitely like how he said, and also too, like, we're gonna be there. We're gonna have a table set up. We're gonna offer some snacks, some stuff for the kids, some goodies. But we also want to try to help educate. And again, like I said, I think one big thing is, like, we want to make sure that these parents understand the options that they have. So we're gonna have different options for, like, school choice. Some people don't know about the options of sending their kids to private school, Montessori schools, charter schools, or even homeschooling. There's tons of resources out there. It's not a rich thing. It's not just a white thing. Like, man, there's people of all backgrounds and ethnicities that actually are choosing to take their kids out, actually choosing to actually take control of their kids, education. And I think that's one thing we're going to do. So we're going to have a booth. We're going to have it set up so that the kids can come out, eat, and then if the parents want to come up and just learn a little bit about just some options, that's, what we want to focus on. And again, we appreciate, you letting us, be part of it. Because again, like, we understand too that it's really not so much about, like I said, about us as Blexit trying to collect or trying to be this foundation. We're trying to collect money. We want to give back. We want to serve. We want to be on the front ends, like, actually doing stuff. There's a lot of organizations that we know right now that they're collecting money, they're making millions of dollars, and none of these communities are seeing it. So I think it's a good thing when we can actually partner with other people, because at the end of the day, like you said earlier, like, there's just certain things that I know I may not be able to reach, but if I can find the right person that can help me, like what Darion's doing, especially coming on here and speaking with you guys, it's what we want to try to do. So please, come out, support. Again, if you want to, reach out and be part of any of our initiatives, we have different ones each month. So please, go on our website and check it out.
So May 15th at 5 o'clock, South Avondale High School, our elementary school, for the cleanup. And then May 28th, 1 to 5 at Walnut Hills High School is the youth camp. Make sure y'all go online and y'all sign up and register your kids. Make sure you get them there. This is going to be something big for the city. This is only the beginning, and it's just going to get bigger. We will hopefully we can get this to an elite youth camp where the hottest guys around come and square off, and we'll see who can keep them records up.
That's going to be cool. It's going to be interesting.
We appreciate Blexit. I'm your boy Idaho.
I'm your boy Juke.
Shout out to Chuck. Shout out to Flick It Up for coming out. Shout out to Blexit. Make sure y'all tap in next week. We got something special for you.
Yes, and definitely, if you want to look us up, you want to be a member and help us with our initiative here in Ohio, just go to Blexit Foundation. Just look up the chapter. You can join. And again, like, if you want to, look me up, message me correctly. All my social media is under Raymond Wynn, and then also I Live to Win. So please, hit us up. Tell us what we can do. We're always looking to find people that, if you follow our 5 pillars, if you believe in our goals, and our conservative goals, to really help our communities and really change the narrative, please help us to really spread that.
All right.
Thank you.
Peace.